Hello guys, for the past couple of months I've been living in VBRP. I got 2 Unchained titles on my Max Orc and Magplar, and I also got a lot of runs with 1 death, and even 1 run with 0 deaths but with someone taking a sigil by an accident. I think by this time I've seen every possible scenario what can go wrong in there. I did 39 minutes super safe runs with a healer and 106 score runs with Thracian Stranglers. I also have a tank POV of that arena because I was tanking it as well. So I guess I'm more than qualified to make this guide, and really hope that it will help you to get the Trifecta.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I just slapped a guard. Bruh.
This isn't really a new player friendly guide, because it's not a VBRP guide, but specifically a guide for Unchained Trifecta, which is no death, no sigils and speedrun. If you are progging for it, I assume that you already know pretty good the basics of VBRP and cleared it at least a couple of times. Although I will be explaining some mechanics which may be helpful for people trying to clear VBRP for the first time. Also, one thing before we start. If you're doing a score run, it's better to have a specific sets and group composition, but if you just want to do a title run, you can go on whatever classes you want, as long as you can make it in 40 minutes. But if you ask me, I'd say it's a good idea to have a Templar in your group for heals, even if it's DPS and not a heal, probably a DK or a Warden tank, and Sork, Nightblade or a Necromancer as other 2 DPS, but Warden works too. Once again, all classes work, as long as you have the damage. Okay, let's start with an actual guide now. First arena is the easiest one. All you need to do is avoid AoEs, heal and shield if needed, focus big ads, chain and interrupt archers, all the basic stuff. Nothing really bad here that can kill you. Usually people die here because of archers not being taunted or chained and they just snipe DPS.
Bruh. What happened?
Archer. Archer.
So as a group you want to let your tank know if they need to pull or taunt any ad. In general, try to stand a little bit behind the ads, especially cleavers, and watch out for all AoEs they put on the ground. This obviously goes for all arenas. Also, one important thing for all arenas is not to take any synergies around sigils, because you can activate the sigil instead of taking a synergy by accident, so it's better to not stand near sigils at all during fight. Or if you stand near them, just don't take any synergies.
Sussy baka!
Another crucial thing for BRP is to know where to stand on each round of every arena and when to drop ultimates. I will explain this in the guide as well. On first arena it's all pretty easy with ultimates anyway. You just need to drop them on big ads whenever you have them and save them for 3rd round big ad pool, and then start saving them starting 4th round for the final boss. On last boss you need to stand in a cross formation and not overlap meteor AoEs or you will die. DPS the boss and block the meteors when this mechanic happens. Try to not go too far away from the boss, because you might go into fire Atronach AoE, and if it hits you with a meteor AoE you will probably die even if you block. When boss gets to an execute phase, she will start the fire mechanic. Be careful because it's one-shots. Once you're done with the first arena, here's where all the fun begins. Arguably, second arena is the hardest one in Blackrose, so if you did it no death, you can say you're pretty much done with the hardest part. At this point of the video it's about time to ask myself, am I even the right guy to do Unchained guide?
Look.
What the dog doing?
Bruh. What the f...
Baba Bowie.
Natch.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
I didn't block, and no one said. I didn't see it. Restart, man. Sorry.
The thing is, if you've done VBRP a certain amount of times and completing it isn't an issue for you anymore, while progging for Unchained and even going for your 2nd or 3rd titles, you'll probably still be dying because of tiny BS mistakes, which happens too often and most of the time on the 2nd arena. So playing it super safe and be aware of your surroundings is the key here. And on 2nd arena you need to be aware of everything at every second. Spiders need to be chained ASAP and killed, because the longer they stay alive the more poison dose they will do to you. Bugs can actually one-shot you, so they need to be focused as well, and Croc's Cleave isn't a joke too, since it can kill you in one hit. Meanwhile, Hawkwings will be charging and stunning you. Archers, trolls, hajmotas and wamasu will be spicing up the action. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot about the Natchez, who are probably the biggest problem on second arena and in whole Blackrose, because their AoE can kill you in seconds if you get caught into it and don't purge. Their basic hits aren't too bad, but in combination with other damage here they can hurt. Pretty much everything can kill you in this arena. To avoid it, here's what you need to do. Always stand behind crocodiles and bugs, and to be honest, just stand behind all the ads if possible. If you see a bug or croc is targeting you, just call it out so tank can taunt it. Don't stay close to trolls, because they do a ground stomp and they can one-shot you. When you see the Natchez come into the group, call it out and move to the middle until the Natch will be gone. Natch. Try to not to get caught into Natch bomb, and if you got into one, then it's most likely a rip. But if you can call it out super fast, you might get a chance to be purged, and you will live. For now. Save your ultimates until hajmota spawn, and then save them until archers. On a round where wamasu spawns, tank usually doesn't taunt it, so GGs need to kill it ASAP, and then focus archers. Don't stay close to wamasu, because its cleave attack will put a dot on you and you will die in seconds. If wamasu is alive for too long, then it will do a shock AoE.
AoE. Go for it. Watch out for cover.
And you will need to avoid it. Not block or dodge, because it's still a lot of damage, but just try to move around it, or even better, try to kill wamasu before it does this attack. I kinda went over all the stuff here, but it still feels like it's not enough. It's just very tough and stressful arena, and you need to be super careful. Movement here is very important, but also extremely dangerous, because if you get caught into Natch bomb, it will usually mean death. At rounds when you need to run to archers, or DPS them in the middle if tanks stack them good, there will be always Natches flying around, and you need to be super careful, heal, shield, try to avoid them. Tank or a healer should be spamming purge, and you need to have your ultimates saved for archers, so they die fast. Don't save your ultimates for boss unless you do nuke strat. Second arena boss is once again probably the hardest one in Blackrose. There's two ways how to do it. If you have low DPS, do a safe strat, and if you have high DPS, then nuke. The safe strat goes like this. You DPS the boss until troll appears. You kill the troll, then you slow down DPS and just wait until bug bomb happens. Then at 60% hajmota will spawn and you kill it. Then you just focus the boss and ignore wamasu. The nuke strat is obviously a bit different. You DPS the boss, kill troll, then you continue in DPS in boss, and after it teleports, drop all your ultimates and nuke it, ignoring everything else. Keep in mind that you will get a bug bomb mechanic and 2 ads running around, so you need to be super careful while nuking the boss. If the bug bomb will spawn on tank, there's two ways. If the tank is DK, then they can just pop magma shell and you don't need to stack on them. But if it's not a DK tank, then you need to stack on tank and be aware of all incoming damage you may get from ads and the boss. Third arena is very simple. You just stand in the middle the whole fight and kill all the ads without forgetting to interrupt infusers. When gargoyles will spawn, you need to stand couple seconds in the middle so gargoyle can drop its AoE there, and then you just go to gargoyle and nuke it. Always save your ultimates and use it for gargoyles. Fourth round will be the hardest one damage wise, so you might need to block, cast, shield, heal, and try to stay a little bit away from tank because the incoming damage from all pull deaths will be noticeable. It's the only round where you will want to drop your ultimates on ads. Now the boss round. Basically all you need to do on this boss is DPS, kill ads, interrupt infusers and the boss, and kill big ads when they spawn, because while they are alive, boss will be immune to damage. If you got crossed by the boss, you need to cleanse yourself in one of the pools on the ground, that's why you need to watch out for them at all times. At around 35-30% of boss HP, it's a good idea to drop all the ultimates you have and burn the boss down to prevent more big ads to spawn. Arena 4 is like all the previous ones mixed together. There will be all the ads from them, and so all my advices from those arenas work here as well. The most difficult thing here is second round, where you need to interrupt left and right mage. There's a couple options how to do it, but the easiest one in my opinion is to assign 2 DPS, each for left and right mage, and just interrupt them when they are channeling their attacks, and DPS the boss and ads in the middle while mages aren't casting. Tank can of course taunt both mages and stack them in the middle with ads, but I think it's super risky and you will lose damage while tank is running away to stack mages, because all the ads will run with him. So, how you do this pull correctly? All should stay in the middle while tank is pulling and stacking all the adds. You DPS them and drop your ultimates right when boss is about to spawn. Then, at the same time, mages will spawn from left and right side. So one DD will stand closer to the left, one to the right, so they can interrupt mages. Tank will be in the middle and other DD or a healer will stand whenever, but be sure not to overlap meteor AoEs or you will die. One little secret here is that if you stand too close to each other for some reason, your AoEs with another player can actually overlap, but you must be sure that you stand only in one AoE and your feet don't touch other players' AoE. Then you'll be fine when meteor lands. But if your feet stand in two AoEs at the same time, you will die. So basically AoEs can overlap, but you only can stand in one or you will die. After this pull, the next dangerous thing is mota. Tank needs to wait for it near exit, and DDs should drop all their ultimates on it and nuke. Once mota spawned and coming near exit, be careful and block or roll dodge if needed. Last thing before the boss is the add pull with gargoyle. For it you need to run to the entrance, drop gargoyle's AoE there, and then run to the middle and drop all the ultimates and nuke all the adds. Okay, now it's the boss round. It may seem hard, but it's really not, at least compared to second boss. So what do you need to do here? DPS first boss and stand in a cross formation to not overlap AoEs. Tank needs to stand where the second boss will spawn before it will actually appear. Before second boss there will be one meteor mechanic from first boss, so you need to block. Then second boss will spawn and you drop all your ultimates, which should kill first boss and also damage second boss for a bit. After being damaged, second boss will soon spawn wamasu and you need to prioritize it. Then you focus second boss and you ignore mota, which will be spawned sometime after wamasu. Although while second boss is still alive, third boss will appear and tank needs to taunt it ASAP or it can slap the group member.
Boss is up.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Then after second boss is dead, you just need to kill third boss and fight is over. However, you should keep an eye on the blue pools on the ground in case you will get cursed and will need to cleanse. Also, it's nice if tank can pull little skeletons so they don't transform into big ad. Okay, let me give you a short recap. Stand in a cross formation and DPS the first boss. When second boss will spawn, drop all your ultimates on both bosses. Finish first boss and then wamasu. Kill second boss and ignore mota and third boss. After second boss is dead, kill third boss. Personally, I would say that Arena 5 is the second hardest here after Arena 2. Mostly because of being the most stressful one since it's the last arena, and also because of AoEs and a lot of tough adds. I'd even say it's not a bad idea to use a barrier rotation if you are going for the title and not score. Even if two people like tank and healer for example, or a tank and one DPS will use it, it will be enough. So what do you do in this arena, and most importantly, how to not die here? Whole group should stay in the middle and tank should pull all adds here. Good advice for tank is to range taunt first and only then chain the adds. Also, it's nice for tank to use talents or another crowd control ability after you've chained the adds. Skeletons will be doing channeling attacks all the time, so you will need to interrupt them. By the way, you can use Deep Breath skill if you are on DK tank. Usually it's tank who interrupts the adds, but as a DPS or a healer, you are more than welcome to do it too. Although I'd say the better tactic is to interrupt adds if you are a tank, but as other group members it's probably better to not stay too close to adds and roll dodge from channeling adds or interrupt them. Tank should always interrupt and shouldn't really roll dodge unless it's too late for interrupt. Because if skeletons aren't interrupted, some of them will spawn shockwaves, which can one-shot DPS or a healer. If you are a tank and standing in skeletons channeling AoE and you don't interrupt and just face tank it, you are probably going to die as well, even through block, because it's one-shot. So the key on this arena is to interrupt as a group and 100% as a tank. Roll dodge if you can't interrupt and always be careful of AoEs on the ground. Oh, and also don't run into ghosts, because if you collect 3 of them, you will need to cleanse on one of the circles in the arena, but the circle on which you cleanse will disappear. It is generally not a good thing to do, because on the last boss you will need all those circles active. Another mechanic here to keep an eye for is totems. You will need to kill them ASAP, because they will throw rocks at you and stun, and with combination with other mechanics such as any AoE from skeletons or ghosts, you will die. If totem spawned at the end of the round, then you can leave it and just focus the last stats, but be careful. One more annoying mechanic which can kill you here is Ghost's heavy attack.
Block, block.
Tank or a healer or any group member really should call it out when it happens so all can block. Otherwise you will receive quite a bit of damage and can even die if your HP was low. Also, when the big ghost appears, it will spawn the AoE circle on the ground, which will damage everyone in the group after its channeling time, so tank needs to stand in it and block. It's a very intense arena and you need to be super focused at all times. Interrupt the ads, watch out for cliff, block ghosts heavies, kill totems and avoid all AoEs and ghosts. For the boss round you will need to assign who will take each side on the ghost mechanic, and when it happens you need to commit to your side and not steal other people's ghosts. What I mean by that is, if you said you are doing middle, for example, then take the ghosts only near middle path. Do not take any ghosts from left or right, even if you are seeing them spawned while you are running to the middle. If you do that, it will mean that other people won't be able to get them and they will need to either run to other person's path to collect ghosts, or they won't be able to get any ghosts at all. Usually it's nice to collect 3 ghosts, but if you got 1 or 2 don't worry, because that means that other people probably already collected enough ghosts. After the ghost phase, be sure to block and heal just in case. Tank is the only player who doesn't collect ghosts. While ghost mechanic is happening, tank should run to the side so boss can drop negate there and not in the middle. Because if you stand in the negate you will die, and if you cast any abilities in negate, they just won't work. That's also why you don't drop your ultimates before negate happens, because boss can place his negate on your ultimate so it will be a rip. After boss dropped his negate, tank goes to the middle again and group continues to DPS it. Don't forget about totems and ghosts. Totems needs to be killed ASAP, and with ghosts you should avoid them and not get in any of them before the ghost phase, because otherwise you will need to cleanse and the pad will disappear, so it means 1 pad less on ghost phase, which will probably be a wipe. However, if you collected 1 or 2 ghosts by mistake, don't worry too much, because during ghost phase you can get 1 more ghost and cleanse all of them. Another mechanic is boss jump. Before jumping he will place an AoE on you, and ideally you want to drop it a little bit away from the group, but don't go too far away. In general, it's nice to stack on boss as a group through the whole fight. That's pretty much it. I hope this guide helped you in some way and you got better understanding on how to do Blackrose Trifecta. It usually takes some time depending on your group skill level, but eventually if you try a lot you will get it. Unchained is all about the little details and being super careful at all times. Take breaks if you need to, try different skills, tactics, classes and stuff, and you will get it eventually. Good luck and thanks for watching.